The police investigation into Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor widens, and the first public appearance for a princess living in Australia.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Nine.com.au vodcast Royal Briefing. I'm Nicole Douglas, the entertainment editor at Nine.com.au.
And I'm Natalie Oliveri, Royal reporter for Nine.com.au. Nicole, we have to talk about the biggest issue in royal news at the moment, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. He himself is an issue that just is not going away for the royal family.
Never.
Every week it seems there's something new to report. But a few days ago we heard from Thames Valley Police. Now they have announced they're actually widening their investigation into Andrew, and what this actually means is that he is being investigated for potential alleged sexual misconduct offences. Now this is not a new investigation, it's just part of the original one that was launched back in February when he was arrested on his 66th birthday. So I'll just explain quickly what is happening at the moment. So officers are looking into claims that a woman was taken to an address in Windsor back in 2010 for sexual purposes. Now, apparently she was trafficked by Epstein. That is the allegation. And the address in Windsor at the centre of all of this is Royal Lodge. That is Andrew's former home. Royal residence, very close to Windsor Castle. So it is quite damaging, this in itself, for the royal family. And police are really asking for anyone with information to come forward. So there's not been any charges at this stage. It's just really police expanding their investigation. The reason they're doing this is because Andrew was arrested for alleged misconduct into public office. Now, that in itself is very, very hard to prove, and apparently investigators are having difficulties in building a strong case. So now they're, I guess, throwing it out to the public for anyone with information to come forward, because that charge or that allegation has many, many different branches. So it's not just one specific thing they're looking into. But I have to say that Andrew, again, he's denied all wrongdoing. He has not been charged. He was arrested, questioned for 12 hours and then released under investigation. So that is the latest on the Andrew thing. And Nicole, your thoughts?
So obviously now Buckingham Palace haven't said anything about the latest release, and I think King Charles really set the boundary clear as day back in October that he was not going to comment on anything to do with any police matters. So one of the things that came out this week that I found really interesting was the fact that there was new unsealed files that revealed that the late Queen Elizabeth actually recommended Andrew for his trade envoy job years ago. That was despite growing anxieties that were already around about Andrew. So does it sort of beg the question that the more things that come out and the more, like even this relating to the Queen, she had such a strong 70-year reign that everybody thought was flawless. Does it beg the question that even that is going to be tarnished due to Andrew?
I think, unfortunately, the Andrew issue, the Andrew scandal, is going to tarnish his mother's reign, sort of looking back. I guess a lot of what we know about Andrew now came out after Elizabeth II died in 2022. It was Queen Elizabeth who really recommended her son do this trade envoy role. And I mean, it's a role he held for around 10 years. And I think looking back, the Queen knew what a liability Andrew was, but there was only so many things she could do within the confines of her reign, because all the things that we know now really have come out after her death. We saw her actually strip him of his HRH title. And so that was something she was able to do. And I guess King Charles now has taken much stronger action by removing his prince title, by evicting him from the Royal Lodge. I guess this is still another, I guess this is another bump in the road in the Andrew scandal. The King is wanting to put some distance between it and the royal family, getting on with business as usual. And as you said, as the palace has said, it's very much a police matter at this point.
And I did want to bring up two people that have been brought into the drama of it all without doing anything at all, and that is Beatrice and Eugenie, of course. And I know we've spoken about it briefly before, but I do have quite strong opinions on whether they should or shouldn't be in the public eye, and I just wondered what you think first before I go off.
Well, I really do think Andrew's daughters need to keep flying under the radar. I do think, yes, the girls have done nothing wrong. Princess Eugenie, Princess Beatrice, they are hardworking, non-working royals. They have their own jobs. They have families away from the royal family. But they are still, by association, tarnished by the scandal engulfing Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. And I think at this stage, Beatrice and Eugenie are best to sort of maintain their distance from the royal family, because anytime we talk about them, anytime we see them, it immediately reminds the public of their parents. And we're getting very close to Royal Ascot, and the girls are expected to make an appearance there. But now, in light of these latest, developments involving their father and the police, I think it's probably wise if they do stay away. It is unfair. It really, really is unfair, and I feel for them. But also, you have to look at the institution of monarchy as a whole, and King Charles has to preserve, I guess, the dignity of the institution. He has to preserve its reputation. And I think Beatrice and Eugenie will see their role in that as sort of stepping back for the time being.
See, I
completely disagree.
I do. You? I feel like it's a very old-fashioned way to look at it, almost. Like, just keep quiet, don't say anything. I don't just think they should go to Royal Ascot. I think they should lead the way at Royal Ascot. I think they should go out there. I think they should go and just put all of this crap behind them, because it's got nothing to do with them. They didn't do anything wrong. And this whole thing of like, just stay silent, keep calm and carry on is so old-fashioned, and it needs to stop. Like, Charles, he's already welcomed them back into the family. They were never part of this horrible situation that their mum and dad have got them into. They should be there at the forefront saying, we're not anything to do with this. We need to put it all behind us. And Charles, let's be honest, he's not got that many people that are that beloved in the royal family left. Apart from Will and Kate. Yeah. Meghan and Harry are long gone. Andrew's gone. Like, it's the Queen, who was so beloved. She's not here anymore. So I think he needs all the support he can get. And I think these two are so beloved in the royal family. Everybody loves everything they do. The pregnancy announcement was amazing. And I think to just shun them and just be like, no, your parents have been involved in some absolutely horrific things, they shouldn't do that. They should get them in there.
Nicole, a much lighter royal story that I can't get enough of. Prince William, he was at the football recently celebrating a major win for his team, Aston Villa. And he was just going crazy. He was singing Sweet Caroline. He had his phone out filming everything. And he was nearly in tears of joy. I think there were actual tears of joy there. And one of my favourite moments was when we could see William holding up his phone and he's filming the trophy presentation and someone's calling him. So he just swipes them away and continues filming. And I just think it was such normal behaviour, such like a normal guy behaviour, a regular person just celebrating.
It's so good. And I feel like even we were all looking to see who was on the phone call. I'd love it if it was Charles and if you just hung up on the King of England, because you're like, no, absolutely piss off, like Aston Villa are winning. But it's such a weird, I don't know if it's a British thing or not to absolutely belt out Sweet Caroline. I don't know. Is it worldwide?
I've grown up singing that song for other reasons, not football related. I just like the song. But I guess it's just like, it was just so funny to see him, I guess, like shed that formality and just be a regular person celebrating this moment in history. Because look, I don't know a lot about football, I'll have to admit. And,
it was a good win. It was a good win for our Will. It was very good. And I can't wait to see when the World Cup happens, because it is coming home.
But I just want to know, from your point of view as a Brit, is that, I guess, seeing the future King of England in the stadium there, how cool would that be?
It was so unbelievably cool, because we have the NRL here. Sure, I'm not gonna lie, it's not as cool as football is in the UK. Like, it's a way of life. Like, my dad lives and breathes Nottingham Forest. If it was between me and Forest, I think Forest would bang it.
Oh yeah, he likes them more. Yeah. Okay.
If it was between me and Nottingham Forest, I think my dad would pick Forest. Like, that's how much people are obsessed. So to see him in this environment just absolutely going mad, like a mad hooligan, it was phenomenal. It was so good. And I think that's almost a sign of what's to come for the Royals, because we're going to get more of these glimpses. We're going to get more of these moments where it's just like ridiculous celebrations. And then we saw him, he was even like chatting to two podcasters that he listened to, and he was saying like, and the way that he was speaking, it was so giddy. It was like some bloke that you just met down the pub. It was so good. And it's like, this is the king.
I know, it's the king.
It's wild.
And I think the reason we are all just obsessed with this vision of William is because he's always been seen as, I guess, the more guarded of the two brothers in comparison to Prince Harry. Prince Harry's always been viewed, I guess, as the fun one. William, the boring one, perhaps.
Yep,
the sensible one. But I think in recent years, William has really tried to shake off that stereotype. Prince Harry certainly is now the boring one, the serious one.
Yeah.
Look, seeing Harry on engagements, he used to be so fun, but now he's just so serious, and he certainly isn't the Harry that I sort of grew up with.
Did you not see him at Beyonce? He was absolutely popping a move.
That's another story.
Yep.
He's really trying to, I guess, show a new side of him, but also the royal family as it moves towards his eventual reign, as the royal family moves into the future. And I think William does have to be a little bit careful here by exposing the mystique of the monarchy. We all love royals because they are this faraway, I guess, family, this bizarre concept of royalty that, most of us will never, ever experience. And I guess it's that mystique that people really enjoy about the royal family. But I guess by opening them up and by talking about your private life much more, William is sort of breaking that facade, a little. But I do like it because we saw him on radio just a few days ago speaking about his family life.
Heart Radio. It was the weirdest thing because that's such a fun radio station that you'd never expect them to go on. With Amanda Holden, if anyone knows her, she's a legend. But Amanda Holden is host. Like, it's so... it was the last thing I ever expected. I thought it was a prank. And then he came on and he gave such lovely answers about his wife. Someone made him a cup of tea. He was talking about jam and scones and stuff like that. I was like, really? He's one of us. It's a legend.
Yeah.
We love it. And I think it is a weird thing to see it sometimes because you're like, how are these people so rich when they're just having a laugh and going down the pub with their mates and doing stuff like this? It doesn't make too much sense. But then you even have to look at like the stories that sort of do well on our website are a lot more about the happy stories and the most funny moments and the iconic things that we don't get to see rather than something like a stuffy talk in the back room of some event, which we've heard it all before. I think we need a bit more of a glimpse into life, otherwise we're going to lose interest.
I think so. And I think like William is really trying to do things differently from I guess, setting himself apart from the reign of the Queen, like Queen Elizabeth II, because during her 70 years on the throne, she was very, very tightly guarded about family life. And it was only sort of in the later years of her reign that you sort of learnt a little bit more about family life. Remember that documentary that was filmed in 1969? It was, I guess, At Home with the Royal Family. And it showed the royals, cooking barbecues, having picnics, just the Queen was taking her children to a lolly shop. But then the documentary got shelved. The Queen didn't want anyone to see it ever again.
I was going to say, I haven't seen that one myself. No,
1969, it was a while ago. But the thing is, it exposed too much of the royal family, and the Queen didn't want them to appear as normal as they did. But I guess now William is trying to open up the monarchy again and show his family, show a different side of his family. However, he's still remaining very, very guarded, and he's revealing only what he wants to reveal. William and Kate share family videos, photos when their kids have special birthdays, but still they are very, very private. And I think he and Catherine are doing all they can to preserve their little family bubble while the children are still young, whilst also trying to, I guess, modernise the monarchy a little bit, because things have changed under the reign of King Charles. We see the king now hugging people. If someone wants a hug from the king, he gives them a hug. We would never see that. We never saw that from the late Queen. So I think it is a different side to the royal family. William really is leading the way. We're expecting them to modernise. And one thing Prince William did earlier this week was sell off parts of the Duchy of Cornwall property empire. So William, as heir to the throne, he is head of the Duchy of Cornwall. And what that means is he is the landowner of, it's a $2 billion property empire. And he is now selling off 20% of this estate. He's doing that to raise money for homelessness. He wants to eradicate homelessness across the UK. He's also trying to create a number of environmental projects. So he's selling off 20% of the Duchy of Cornwall. And this this property empire is the way William makes his private money. He earns about $45 million a year. That's Australian dollars from the Duchy of Cornwall. He's getting rid of 20% of it, but he's doing that because he knows things need to change and he wants to be a king for the people. Nicole, I think this new era of William being open, whether it be in the travel documentary or at the football, acting like a normal person, and also speaking on radio about his family, I think it is a change in expectations because the public, we're expecting our royal family to be, I guess, normal. We're expecting our royal family to modernise with the times. And I think William is trying to do this. And I'm excited about what we're going to see from William next because it's just, I think this is really the start of a very new open William.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be good. Okay, so there's a couple more royal topics we have to discuss. One of them, there's a royal wedding, and it's coming soon.
Very exciting, Nicole. I'm looking forward to this one because it's not a huge royal wedding. It's a more informal royal wedding. It's Peter Phillips to Harriet Spurling. Now, Peter, I think he's around 19th in line for the throne. So
Close.
he's got a little way to go before he gets to the top. But he is marrying for the second time. And this is Princess Anne's son, if you don't recognise the name, Peter Phillips. What I like about this particular royal wedding, or what I find interesting about this, is that Peter is marrying in England. He and his fiancée, they're getting married in the Cotswolds, and it's his second marriage, but he's doing it in England. Now, this is something that his mother couldn't do when she married for the second time, because when Princess Anne married Sir Tim Lawrence back in 1992, the Church of England banned divorcees from marrying again in the church if their former spouse was still alive. So that rule has since changed.
It's kind of a dark rule. It was a dark rule.
It is a dark rule, but now we're seeing this royal wedding happening on June 6th, I believe. And Nicole, what I love about this particular royal wedding too is the bride. She is a children's nurse.
I know, and I think that's so lovely because I think there was a lot of talk about the fact that this was quite almost a rushed marriage. He's only been divorced for a few years before he's marrying her. But I'm all for love. I think it's amazing. So just reading about her, she's a senior nurse at a children's hospital focusing on early brain development in infants and babies. She's also a single mother who has been raising her daughter Georgina alone for a decade. And she just seems like this breath of fresh air. She just seems like this wonderful woman who has come into his life and they want to celebrate love no matter what happens because obviously he's only recently been divorced.
Yeah, it's not been long.
We'll brush that under the carpet, but I just think in a world full of crap, to have this sort of union is going to be a lovely, lovely thing. And I think she sounds like a fantastic woman to do it with.
Well, it's interesting because he divorced, I think it was in 2020 or 2021. It wasn't that long ago. And then very soon after, he stepped out with Harriet Spurling. And yes, some people said, wow, it's quite early. But look, she has been a fixture at many royal family events. For the past couple of years, she's been at Royal Ascot, she's been at Wimbledon. What I love about her as well as being a nurse is that she's become this fashion icon.
I know.
And she's wearing all these brands that we usually see on the Princess of Wales, but her style is pretty incredible. And I guess from a purely royal fashion watching perspective, I think Harriet Spurling is one to watch. And I really can't wait to see their wedding photos and also the guest list because there's going to be a few royals not invited to the wedding.
We don't know yet. Well, Andrew, we know, is not going to be attending, but everybody else seems to be invited. It's going to be quite the affair.
It's going to be good pictures. We don't get a royal wedding very often, so it's a nice story.
Exactly. Maybe she should get an AI fashion page of her own.
That's
so
right.
You can buy everything that she has.
A shop my page, just like the Duchess of Sussex.
Like our glorious Meghan. Can't wait. And lastly, you've been around and about, Nat, this week with our very own Princess.
Yeah, so I was at the first public engagement for Norway's Princess Ingrid Alexandra. She is the royal who has chosen to study at Sydney University. She is the second in line to the Norwegian throne, so she's going to be Queen of Norway one day. Her father is the Crown Prince. Her grandfather is currently King of Norway. And she's 22 and she's been studying in Australia for nearly a year now. But it was only 2 weeks ago that she made her first public appearance in Australia. So she's been kept under the radar, but she stepped out to celebrate Norway's National Day. And I was one of only 2 journalists present. And it was really interesting to see the princess at such an important day. It was like Australia Day for Norway, I guess, if you want to compare the 2 days. And she was really happy to be there, a little bit guarded. You could tell this was, she's still finding her feet. She has only just started carrying out public appearances in Norway. It's a very different way of doing things over there. You have in the UK, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis. They've been doing engagements for a while now. But the Norwegian princess, really, she was only 21 when she first started doing these big public appearances. So to see her in Sydney with hundreds of Norwegian Australians, it was really lovely to see. And she said a brief hello to nine.com.au.
I know, I saw it. It was a beautiful moment.
It was great. But what I find really interesting about this is that I put a reel up on my Instagram and it has gone insane. Like the amount of comments and likes and views. She's nearly as popular as Queen Mary, I want to say, in terms of people checking in to see her. I think it's really interesting. But I love that we have a future queen who has chosen to come all the way to Australia to study. But I do have to mention part of the reason for her being here, I guess, is to escape the challenges that her royal family is having back home. Her brother is on trial for rape and assault. Her grandparents are quite ill. And also her mother, she has a chronic lung condition. So there are challenges at home. The princess has chosen to live in Australia to, I guess, try and have a normal life while she can before she really has to go back to Norway and be a public person. But it was great to see. And I think something Australians are really happy to get on board with by having such an important royal in Australia. It's a nice thing.
Thank you so much for joining us on Royal Briefing. You can watch every episode on our YouTube channel or on nine.com.au. Thank you so much.
Bye.